All right, looks like we're on. Welcome back, everybody. We've got the final game of heat number 2. We will be giving you Wayne Cullen on dark side with Hunt Down V against Gavin Ortlund on light side with HITCO. We're choosing this game because there are 3 tables of 3 and 2s facing each other. So each table represents a win and in situation. The other ones that are going on are David Woods Dark versus Brad Kipple Light, and Charlie Arlinson Dark against Ed Chan Light. So if you want to check out either of those, feel free to look at the multi-link that Drew posted in chat. Jared Napolitano and Queso are handling the other 2 games. We'll be on this one. Like I said, we've got Wayne on Hunt Down Virtual. Looks like he's doing an all Imperial version. He's starting the Hatred effect, I Am Your Father, and Imperial Enforcement. Pretty standard for people going with the enforcement route, I would say. He's got the defensive perimeter as his 2-1 location. And then for Gavin on HITCO, we see a standard start as well. He's got Walkling, Like My Father Before Me, and the new Virtual Twilight is Upon Me effect. So one thing that's interesting is Wayne did not start security precautions. He's only got 6 on his first turn. That takes away his option to play Vader from his reserve deck with the Vader's castle site and relocate to a battleground because the relocation costs a force. So that one icon, starting enforcement on the table rather than security precautions, is going to limit what Wayne can do on turn 1 here. He goes into his deck and gets the Malachor Sith Temple entrance. We haven't seen that in some of the builds. Some people do include it, some people don't, but Wayne looks like he's playing that. He's got a something special planned for them from hand to hit the table. Scott, I hear your audio coming through, but you're very quiet. That's better.
I hear you just fine, Scott.
In the chat, can you guys hear Scott talking? Scott, say something. All right, Scott is talking. I can hear him, but we're not sure if people in chat can hear him. So if somebody can chime in and let us know, that'd be helpful. So we see Gavin plays Anakin Skywalker to pull the Death Star 2 Chasm Walkway into hand, and Wayne decides to stack that on his free grabber. There's something special planned for them. So that will continue to hook future copies of Anakin Skywalker, but it won't increase the cost that Gavin has to pay to play those interrupts. And Wayne's just going to keep moving right to his draw phase. He's going to pick up a bunch of cards, 4 cards, then he's going to play a Masterful Move combo to go into his deck for a Gick. And he'll save a Guy K, and then he'll lose 1 to satisfy Visage of the Emperor V, which is a copy of Ninth Sister off the top of his reserve deck.
Did I hear a Guy K in there? I'm just checking with the chat. Can you hear me? I'm just checking with the chat to make sure they can hear me.
Wait. I can't hear you, Mike.
Wonderful. All right, Scott asked what we would want to grab that's not Anakin Skywalker in this matchup. So it's possible, depending on what Gavin is playing, Mike. Could be expecting Rebel Leadership. Blaster deflection is a potential as well. So we see Gavin go ahead and deploy his 2/2. I think, yeah, so that probably means Luke is going there, and that's exactly what we see. Guys, bear with us on the stream. For some reason, Greg cannot hear me through Discord. So maybe if is this and the stream is able to hear Scott.
I can hear Scott. I can hear Scott on the Discord call. I can't hear Mike on the Discord call.
Yeah, so the chat is confirming.
So I don't know if there's something, Scott. Can you check the Discord call settings?
Yeah, so we're having a bit of a who's on first issue here. Greg and I can hear Scott within Discord. Greg cannot hear me in Discord, but it seems like the stream is hearing myself and Greg, but Greg and I can't hear one. I can hear Greg, but he can't hear me. Yeah. Casey's suggestion is that Scott just repeats everything I say. I'll be very pithy. Greg, at least the stream can hear you. I'm going to just let Greg know this, that he can talk for a while as well.
I have no idea what conversation you guys have been having. I don't know if you mentioned it, but I think it's interesting that Gavin decided to play his Death Star 2 Chasm Walkway. I guess one of the concerns is that while HITCO, the new version of HITCO, his activation is consistent, it doesn't always have a high ceiling of icons that it can activate from. So I wonder if Gavin has tested this and he just feels more comfortable ensuring that there's 2 extra icons out, even though it does give 2 icons to Wayne as well. But that's not, in my experience testing, that's not what I've seen. That's not to say whether it's right or wrong. I just have, it's not a play that I'm used to seeing. I think it's not bad because it gives, kind of forces the action at the Chasm Walkway, which will allow Gavin to play his Rescue in the Clouds to protect his lower ability characters if they do end up fighting there.
We see the 5th brother come down here against Luke.
Okay. Okay, so 5th brother comes down. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Can you, if you have a chance, go into the Discord tab and see if there's some setting you need to change in there. Yeah. So 5th brother comes down. 5th brother is probably the best offensive character that the Inquisitor package offers because it's power +3 pretty much in all cases, right? Power +3, defense value -2 while with a Jedi, Padawan, or Hatred card. And also characters here may not have their forfeit value increased. So 5th brother comes down. We'll probably see a stack at some point to get a Hatred card on Luke. That'll turn 5th brother into a power 7 character, and will turn on the additional +1 bonus to total battle destiny for Wayne. All right, so he stacks the 9th sister.
They're trying to see if Greg can hear me, so hopefully.
And Gavin decides to lose one in order for Luke to keep his text. It's a copy of Cornhorn off the top of his reserve deck. And then Wayne backs up Fifth Brother with a copy of Kyrkanos. That's useful in that it'll stop something like if Fifth Brother was battling by himself and Wayne didn't have any weapon protection, one possible way for Gavin to get out of that battle would be to swing his lightsaber at Fifth Brother, hit, and play Sorry About the Mess to make him lost. So this covers Wayne from some kind of trick like that that will end the battle earlier than Wayne wants with Battle Destiny going through. But Gavin has a barrier for Kyrkanos. The barrier sticks, so Kyrkanos will not be participating in the battle on this turn.
Testing.
No.
Testing.
Nope.
Scott, do you want me to
So
try?
there's a Dark Jedi lightsaber on Fifth Brother as well.
Do you want me to try to hang up and rejoin? See if Greg can hear me?
I can hear you. All right. So I can, Scott, I can hear you. Mike left the call and I think he's trying to come back on. All right. So Wayne battles. Kyrkanos will not be involved in this battle, which is going to make for an interesting follow up. Well, I guess we know Wayne has the Gick, so he's going to be prepared to burn his Gick on the follow up turn coming from Gavin here. Luke was hit by the Dark Jedi lightsaber. No weapon protection in this battle from Gavin. He actually draws Jedi's concentration as part of his weapon destiny, swinging back at Fifth Brother. So both characters are hit by lightsabers. Luke still has his forfeit. Fifth Brother is forfeit 0. Wayne plays Far More Frightening Than Death to add a battle destiny in a battle with a hatred card.
Testing, Greg?
Yeah, now I can hear you, buddy.
And how about this chat?
All right,
hopefully they can hear me. Interesting to see that he's adding the battle destiny. It's probably just to try to avoid having to peel.
Yeah, because he's going to have to use the Gick. Like, Kyrkanos is getting left high and dry as a result of this battle. So I think you're right that he's using the Destiny Adder to avoid losing a lot in overflow, which I don't know. I mean, I might just take the lumps there. It's probably only going to be a couple of force. Might save the Adder. You know Luke's dying because he was hit with the lightsaber. You could keep the Adder for a battle later on down the road.
Although he's going to push through 3 damage here. Or 2 damage, excuse me.
No, Luke has all of his forfeit intact.
Oh, because it's the crappy lightsaber?
Yeah, he can't be used to satisfy attrition, but he can still cover the battle damage.
Good point. Well said. Sorry. It's late, or I'm tired. One of the two. No one has confirmed they can or can't hear me, so I'm assuming they can.
Yeah, can you guys hear Mike talk?
All right, thanks, Scott.
All right, great.
So that's what we're talking about.
Berman chat mentioning that. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Kier's going to be stuck, as you said. We know he has Gick in hand. I'll turn it over to you. That's all. I was just reaffirming where we were.
Yeah, I just don't know. I think it may have been a little loose with the Destiny Adder. It's a lost interrupt. I feel like those are pretty critical in this matchup where you need to make sure Luke is dying every time he hits the table. You have domination that you started, Imperial Enforcement as it's called now. You've got that in play because you're both just at one location, so you have a chance to redraw if you draw low. And you have 2 to the total compared to Luke adding 1 to the total. So he was down 3 power. Yes, it's likely that you're going to get outdrawn by light side there, but you're going to be stacking a card on conflict and losing maybe like 2 or 3 cards at the most. I feel like in the way that this game needs to play out with your ability to clear off light side stack of mains every time they hit the table, I don't know if that was the best use of the lost interrupt to add a destiny there.
And normally this takes what, playing 2 of that? Do we like the site? I think Greg and I talked about it a little bit earlier, Drew. I think that it comes down to the fact that without it, Gavin's only activating 11. To be fair, Wayne would only be activating 10. So it's questionable, but I do think in general HITCO is a bit starved for icon, so I can understand it. It's also all of the action is going to happen probably on 1 to 2 battlegrounds for most of the game, so he's just forcing the action there.
Yeah, if it forces the action there, which I think is to the benefit of Gavin as we get further into the game, and he's got characters there who are eligible targets for rescue in the clouds. He can protect them from Vader swinging. All right, so we see another copy of Luke, and backed up by Ahsoka. A second Luke's lightsaber. They're gonna fight this lone Kyrkanos and draw the Gick from Wayne, and get a card stacked on conflict.
And we know Wayne has Lord Vader in hand because he took it into hand in the last battle. So it'll be interesting to see how he follows up this turn. For the mentor,
yeah, we know from the first battle, we know Gavin didn't have many tricks in that first battle, right? There was no blaster deflection, nothing to, no sorry about the mess. You know, there was nothing like that occurred in that first battle. And so now he's got a 4-card hand. Like you said, we know Wayne has Lord Vader, so he can kind of come down and plan an attack, knowing that the swing is going to get through. If he has Vader and an Inquisitor, he'll be able to come down and draw with +2 to the total. He may be able to clear the site next turn.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's going to be hand dependent for Wayne. Fun to see Gavin draw a Gift of the Mentor for Destiny, which is substantially easier to assemble with the new Yoda.
Yep.
I know Steve had been asking for updates on Justin's game against JJD. Currently, there is a battle happening at the Vader site with Vader and the fifth brother, both armed with lightsabers, against Luke and Cassian, and both JJD's guys are hit, whereas neither of Justin's were. So we'll see how this battle clears out. It looks like it actually may clear the whole site. Notably, Justin's objective will flip before he has to lose his Vader. So it's currently a completely empty board in that game. And Justin has 4 cards in hand with about 32 in life force. JJD has 31 in life force with 5 in hand. And it's currently Jared's turn. So that's your update.
And so this game just at the end. Say that again. So they're all being streamed. There's David Woods against somebody. David Woods Dark against Brad Kipple Light. Charlie Arlinson Dark against Edward Chen Light, and then the game that we have here with Wayne and Gavin. So those are all 3-2 versus 3-2. There are other people who are in the running still. I think Yoshi versus Matt Scott. I think that is Matt Scott's 3-2.
I think Matt's in the running. Sam is not.
Both of them are 3-2. This is a win and in.
So Wayne comes back with Lord Vader, as well as the Ninth Sister, which is the one that is basically Zuckuss and Miss Hunter on a character, as well as Vader's lightsaber on Vader. He goes to cancel Ahsoka's game text with the hatred effect, which will likely prompt Gavino to lose a force.
And it's sorry about the mess off the top of his deck. So that's good to take note of if you're Wayne. It means it's one less copy that's floating around, and also something to consider if Solo ends up hitting the table at some point in this game. And so Lord Vader is interesting, right? Typically people are pulling Enforcer Vader, but we have seen maybe a little more of a mix of Vaders, usually some kind of blend if they're not going all the way in on Enforcer combos. Lord Vader is a beast when he's actually fighting. Defense value 8. He adds 1 to each of his saber swings. So he gets his swing in against Luke, draws pretty well, and Luke is hit, and there's a force loss from I Am Your Father. Yeah, and Vader's immune to less than 6. So Luke's going to swing back at Vader. Defense value 8. And just squeaks through with a 4 and a 5. Vader's hit. Got a pretty bloody game so far.
No doubt. Surprise fight.
Oh, and then I have you now to add 2 destiny.
Just a quick update on another game. Charlie Arlington event against Edward Sheehan. Charlie currently has 2 Star Destroyers with multiple characters on board against a Leia's transport that he just lateral damaged, so he's outpowering him by more than 20 going into the battle destinies.
And so we just saw another big trick from Wayne. He plays You Are Beaten on Luke. So Luke had been hit. He's excluded from the battle and he's lost. But now we're looking at Lord Vader and an Inquisitor against Ahsoka with the hate card on her. The destiny have already been added while Luke was in the battle. So Wayne's drawing 3 destiny. His first one's Eighth Brother for Destiny 4, and he probably gave some consideration to whether he should redraw that or not. I don't think he redrew anything on the swing. But it's a Destiny 4, so he lets it go through, and he draws 4-4-3 for a total of 13 with his total Battle Destiny bonus. And a 1 from Gavin, but he gets a Jedi left. So he's got a General Leia in hand. And redraws into a 4. So it's going to be 24-9.
I think I agree with it. Maybe I don't agree with his decision not to redraw. And the reason why is he only has 3 cards in hand. So like getting another guy in hand to make sure you have some sort of answer on a subsequent turn seems like it's pretty valuable.
Totally agree. I would have taken it into hand. Did he? It would have been on the swing, but I thought he drew. Yeah, no, he drew 5-4 on the swing.
It paused on the draw enough that I think he had to decline.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I mean, I don't even know what's in his hand. It could be 3 characters in his hand already. I probably would have taken that into hand on the redraw. The Destiny average in domination variants of this deck is pretty high. There, sure, you might have a couple of lower draws in there, but even like Grand Moff Tarkin is a 3, Grand Inquisitor is a 3. You're trading like maybe 1 or 2 on the total battle damage there to get another character in hand. So that seems worthwhile to me. And so there were a bunch peeled by Gavin. Let's just run through. He lost a couple of cards that we saw flipped for various destinies in that battle. Anakin Skywalker, Hear Me Baby, Jedi's Resilience, Deflection, Heading for the Medical Gate, Rebel Barrier, and another copy of Jedi Concentration. So a lot of red cards that went off the top. Did I miss anything? Lando ended up there too.
Yeah. And Gavin plays Leia and proceeds to draw a bunch of cards. If I'm Wayne, I hope I have an answer of some sort, but like I think he may regret not taking that.
I mean, he must have some character in hand. I feel like if he had no characters in hand, he would have definitely taken it. But Gavin is forcing him to have something and do something. Yeah, like you said, he just plays Leia and draws up a bunch of cards after that. He also plays a copy of Rescue, which I think is the second time he's played at this game.
Which makes me think he might also just have another Rescue in hand. Otherwise, he's playing pretty loose considering Leia's at that site.
I don't think it protects Leia.
Does it not protect Leia's ability less than 5?
Yeah.
Sorry. I was thinking the other way around. That would be much better.
I agree. I think if she was ability 4, you could certainly draw that conclusion. Okay, so he loses another blaster deflection. I think that's been 2 Jedi's concentration and 2 blaster deflections off the top, which means pretty much no more saber protection for Gavin, most likely.
So I would assume we're going to see a battle from Wayne, and then him drawing cards. And then we're going to kind of just go through this rinse, wash, repeat cycle.
Yeah, and it will be really beneficial if Wayne can get a battle off this turn. And especially if it's a battle that he wins because, well, no, Simple Tricks is out. All right, so he won't have Enforcement turned on. Yeah, I just can't imagine him passing on that redraw if he didn't have a character in hand.
While there's a little lull in the action, I'm going to share a personal story that happened recently. My wife and I are thankfully expecting our first child in a couple months, and my mom shipped us a care package with some sentimental items from my childhood. And one of them is the original Ponda Baba figure, and she reminded me that as a kid we called him Heine Man. Thank you.
Congrats.
Exactly. Heine Man is now a family heirloom.
That's great.
All right, so we see Wayne may not have had a character in hand. He goes ahead and pulls Vader from deck. Now, I assume he's going to move in front of Leia. You could also potentially see him go, say, you're now draining for 2. I'm going to move to another site where I drain for 3, and like, I'm going to try and race you, or you come fight me.
Right. So he's slightly ahead on damage. If he moves over, I'm guessing he would move over to the Vader +2 Malachor site. If he moves over there, he's going to have a drain of 3 queued up compared to Gavin's drain of 2, and he'll flip, and so he won't be losing to his own Visage. He is, even after the move, he's going to be able to draw a couple cards and replenish his hand, but I think I'd side with you and go over to the Malachor site. Oh, okay. So yeah, I mean you could go there. I think at this stage in the game with if it was going to be just Vader, I think I would take the power +2 going there, but we see that Wayne puts a Grand Inquisitor there and then flies over. So now he's got 11 power and a lightsaber swing. It's looking pretty beefy, and he's locking up a drain of 3.
Yeah, the thing I'm concerned about now, though, is Wayne is in this position. So, like, Gavin potentially has a Luke, something else in his hand. Let's say he has, like, Luke and EPP Obi. Wayne is now in a situation where he has 2 cards in hand. Like, his ability to answer back on a subsequent turn now seems even less likely.
He can, if he gets flipped back, he'll have the option to take Vader into hand.
True. So I'm just assuming that it's possible. Yeah, that could happen. We'll see. I'm concerned that Wayne has left him up long. Like Gavin did get the turn to go up to 10 cards in hand, so he's just going to be the one with the answers now.
Yeah.
I will say I haven't played a ton of this matchup. HITCO, the additional stacks versus the like pseudo retrieval. If you're playing the new You Cannot Hide Forever virtual, I forget what the card is called. Like, there's a lot of additional force loss and potential for force retrieval that makes this matchup a little bit different than like a typical mains on mains.
Yeah, and with this setup here,
nope.
Okay, so Luke comes down. So Grand Inquisitor is adding to the ping force loss that occurs anytime a Jedi or Padawan is lost from sane sight as any Inquisitor. So this setup, I mean, if we see Gavin's going right at Wayne here, but if Gavin did take a line where he was supporting Leia or going to a second sight, and it involved Jedi, that would have set up Wayne to get a little more damage off. But yeah, what we see is Luke and EPPOB both coming down in front of Luke and the Grand Inquisitor. Smells like a gift of the mentor to me.
He drew it for Destiny, and not inconsequentially, enforcement is now suspended.
Yep. So there won't be any redraws.
So like he can't rely on that to refill his hand anymore.
Yeah, and I like this a lot with a 2-card hand. You know, we know Wayne didn't draw anything new, so Gavin knows there's no saber protection in there unless Wayne's been sitting on it for some reason. He knows that the Gick has been burned, the Guy K has been burned. So he's going to come down and get a swing in against Grand Inquisitor. It really makes me think that a Destiny Adder is coming. Okay, it is a sorry about the mess.
All right, so no canceler for the sorry about the mess. So Inquisitor's lost. We're looking at the very least, like Wayne will likely, if there's a battle of Destiny Adder, lose his Vader and be stacking another card on I Feel the Conflict.
Yeah, I mean, if there is an adder, Luke adding 1 to each of those is pretty brutal.
So he does Vader swings at hit Luke. Causes a force loss with Iron Father. And there it is, the gift of the mentor. We talked about this earlier being easy to set up just by the pullable Yoda, but sometimes you just go about it the old-fashioned way. Ostensibly, Gavin knows his destiny also. No, he hasn't searched. So like maybe these are not great, but odds are his destiny overall is quite high average.
Yeah, he did lose a lot of red cards in that first batch of Overflow. So I feel like there should be some characters floating around in there, but he avoids drawing into any of them for his destiny. He draws really well with a, what was it?
5, for 5, 13 natural plus the addition.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that did turn pretty ugly for Wayne. He draws a 3, which is going to clear. The battleground site itself is going to clear, but Wayne's stuck in that situation. He has 2 cards. It goes back to passing on that first redraw for the fifth brother, I think it was. He's going to peel Overflow here, and doesn't seem like he has much else going on in his hand.
Yeah, and notably, Gavin drew a second gift of the mentor for Battle Destiny also, so it's not crazy that he was able to assemble this combo.
Right.
And also, we now have a new member of the stream team here.
That was Tyson, my dog, making a little appearance.